Hey Neil, how's it going? I know you're in Santa Fe back again, and I always start with this. What's the weather like in Santa Fe?
Well, it's unpredictable. Right now it's beautiful, but Thursday and Friday we had snow. I was going to go play racquetball, but it was like 30 degrees and snowing, and I decided I didn't want to get pneumonia. And by the way, they have Mikhail Gorbachev is coming to town Monday, so it's kind of a happy place here.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of Russians there. You know, you have the Los Alamos and, you know, all of those physicians and mathematicians. Great. So, Neil, I know it's not as exciting as Gorbachev, but what are we going to talk about today?
Well, today I'd like to talk about Microsoft Premier support. I know that we may be giving away some of the information that we give on our Microsoft BPM assessments, but I believe that if we do that, we can ensure that our next customer has a more healthy relationship with Microsoft, which is very important on any project.
Okay, Neil, that's great. You're talking about the assessment, but before we go into much too deep in this, why don't you tell what is really this Microsoft BPM assessment?
Okay, well, that's an assessment that M2M provides. We go to customer sites with process experts, and we go to sites where they want to develop process-oriented solutions on the Microsoft platform. And during this assessment, we look at estimating what the level of support they will need from Microsoft, and oftentimes we find that this premier support could cost a customer maybe even $200,000 a year, and some people we find never budget for this at all, and other people over budget for it. So we can help, hit the happy medium there.
Yes, Neil, I truly agree with you. Buying Microsoft Premier support can be compared like buying a very expensive car. And, it's like you've seen the commercials and you're seeing the oil price going up and you want to buy a hybrid car, even though, you drive mostly on highways where hybrid cars don't give you that big saving in gas. So you go to the dealership and you mention hybrid, and of course the customer, the seller is going to be pushing you the hybrid because his margin is a lot bigger there. So
you get smart.
Yeah, I mean, so this is where we come in. This is where the BPM assessment really comes in, is because we look at what your needs are in developing the business process-oriented solutions on top of the Microsoft platform, and we tell you what products to buy and what amounts, and, a solution that fits you, the customer, and not the seller. So I totally agree with you, Neil, because at the end of the day, the BPM assessment brings peace of mind.
Exactly.
Okay, Neil, so we've explained it. So how does the assessment really work? How does things, happen during the assessment?
Well, it's fairly fast and efficient. We send one of our Microsoft process experts on site to the customer, and we help them evaluate the customer's potential in terms of physical assets, like the number of servers they have, the experience their staff has with those servers, the number of license they have, assets such as team knowledge in the Microsoft world, BPM in general, and so on. And at the end of this assessment, we assign that customer a score, basically, between 1 and 100. And part of this is a roadmap that helps them basically figure out what they need to get to the 100 before they actually do a BPM project. And we actually have a separate video on that explains why you can't miss this opportunity if you're really serious about Microsoft BPM platform and process-oriented solutions. So check out that video.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice video because it goes over all of these details. But it's important to see, Neil, here that the assessment is mostly for do-it-yourself customers that have enough bandwidth to have teams and all of that. Other customers just come to us and ask for our turnkey solutions.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be me and my team. So wherever you are, Mr. Customer out there, I hope you have a beautiful place like Santa Fe, because I like staying in these beautiful places.
What are the advices that you want to share with our listeners about the Microsoft Premier support?
Well, first of all, I think 100% sure you have to have Premier support if you're doing an enterprise level project. I mean, it's just a requirement. There are basically too many platforms with Microsoft. By the time you do the servers and the BizTalk and the SQL and the SharePoint and so on, it's like no one person knows all that stuff. And even if you have a team of whatever, 5 or 10 people, not everyone's going to know every single detail about every part of every server. There's too many nooks and crannies in there. And then again, there's also new features like Link and WCF, which the new stuff you can't always find on the web. So you need Microsoft to fill in the gaps there.
Yep. Okay, Neil, so I agree with you, but how does it all start? How do you engage? How do you contract? All of that stuff. Go with the process really with our listeners.
Okay, well, as you know, Microsoft is a sales-oriented company, and basically if you contact your salesperson, they'll be glad to sell you the Premier support contract. Just talk to your sales rep, and basically they'll put a contract together for you. And then, again, the strategic part is deciding how many hours you actually need. On many of our projects, we buy something like 200 hours per year, and that basically gives you about 15 hours per month, which might be, who knows, 3 or 4 or 5 tickets that you open with them. And then we take that bucket of hours and we divide it between tickets and different type of server issues, and then maybe even schedule them to come on site if needed once or twice during the life of the project.
Okay.